Right. Okay. We all good? Can we hear each other?
Yep.
Right. Let's see if this YouTube started. Start watching this. Okay. Cool. Cool. YouTube's going. And Twitch. Alrighty. How do I just go to the comments? Whatever. Okay, so in this video, like we've said, we're going to be going through Paulie's blog here, and he's going to be, we're going to be talking through implementing Fuse, like a fuzzy search on his blog with Fuse.js. So, over to you, Paul.
Hi. Well, I'm just preparing my blog because I didn't really prepare well enough for this, and my post page. Wait for Rich to stop typing.
Oh, sorry. I'll mute myself. Sorry.
So my post page is MDX, and it exposes a component from my theme, and I'm guessing we're going to need to do this fuzzy search. We're going to need to filter like the MDX links or post links against an input, I'm assuming.
Yep.
So I'm just trying to get it to a point where I can render this in JSX rather than MDX, which I now can do. So I think we can
share your screen.
All right, let me share my screen.
Let's take a look.
I'll try and talk you through what I'm doing. Are we good?
Yep. I'll take all the. So I'm just sending a tweet.
So,
right, here we go.
This is my posts page. So all of these cards are generated in an MDX file, which is this post MDX, and this source list component actually comes from my theme, which returns data, which I then render. So what I need to do is move this into a JSX component, which I was just making, which is just rendering posts page, which is that bit of text there.
I'm raising my hand here.
Rather than rendering that, we'll render that. But I do need to get source lists from somewhere, which is in my theme. I'm just trying to think, where have I imported it from?
What are you raising your hand for, Rich?
I was going to ask a question, but just carry on. I thought, it's like it's the politest way to do it while someone's talking. I'll ask the question while you're quiet. You're using render props for the source list.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah.
Just out of interest.
Because it comes from the theme, so all of these components in the theme just render data.
Render props.
When you implement the theme in your blog, you can basically return anything you want and render anything you want, rather than tying the theme to a UI. And so Gatsby theme terminal, the whole premise was it's a zero component theme. So it doesn't actually come with any components. You do that yourself.
So
all you do is expose the data.
So source list is essentially just a component that will just loop over any data you throw into it.
Yeah. So if I go to the demo, so my components, or the theme components, if you like, access the GraphQL data, and then they just render anything. So it just returns the data, and then when you implement the theme, you could decide to render it as a list. You could decide to do whatever you want with it.
So the source list component is styled in a certain way?
No styles, just returns data.
Isn't it just like a div then? I don't understand what it does.
It returns data. So this source list component returns data.
So you pass it in data and it spits it out again the other side?
No, well, in the theme, it does. In the theme, you then can get access to the component, the data component, and then render whatever you want.
Okay, I think maybe we can go through this on another stream because that's quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure how much of a popular approach it would be because all of the themes I've seen to date have been very opinionated about what you should render when you use the theme, whereas my theme is entirely up to you. You can render lists, you could render cards or boxes, you could render charts if you wanted. Like, this is all up to you. What you do between the render prop is entirely up to you. All I'm doing in the theme is saying, here's a nicely prepared data object and you can do whatever the hell you want with it. And so I've just created this example. So that's where we're at. Like my posts component. Oh, okay. My posts component, if you like, is just going to render posts, and I'm assuming our Fuse.js list is going to go in here.
Yeah.
But what issues with grid?
It seems so strange seeing data not coming in as props to the page in a post page. What is that? Hang on, what was I looking at? Because everything I was looking at was just in MDX files.
Yeah, so I've just shifted it over so we can have access to it, but that's not going down too well. Maybe I should have done this beforehand.
Oh, hey, Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely do another stream going through that theme, Paul, because I know when you did it and you did tell me about it, but I never really understood it, and I just kind of, oh yeah, that was cool kind of thing. But it does sound like a cool approach, got to say.
Render props, eh? Render props.
It serves me quite well for my blog because, I mean, again, while we wait for this to happen, like all of this stuff you see here, like it's all possible to create by just doing stuff with the data the theme returns. Like the actual DOM nodes is entirely up to you what you render, and so it keeps it out of the theme. So the theme is quite small because it doesn't have any UI apart from a background and a nav bar. That's it. Everything else in between is entirely up to you about what you do with it. But on the downside, in a situation like this,
what's the issue you're having here? Why is this erroring out?
Good question. Right, so I need to get at. Oh, right, okay. So I need to get at. Okay. Hopefully that will compile.
So, could you bump up the font size, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that readable?
One more.
One more.
Yeah, there you go.
Wowzers. Okay.
So it's totally unusable
yeah.
for you, but we can see it. That's good. Hey, Kiro, how you doing? All eyes on this.
This should render. What I'm expecting to see in the browser is just the words posts page initially.
Right. You're rebuilding it.
Yeah, it's
hang on, what have I got for that? Hang on. Need some hold music.
Yeah, this takes a long time to build. My the old fans are spinning. Right, here we go. Here we go. This is looking better. So
you know what? It took a really long time to clone it as well. This afternoon when I cloned it to take a quick look, then ultimately get fed up because it's a theme.
That's what I did. So that works. That works. Now let's hope that the theme component works. There we go. Right, we're back in business. So now,
where's your data? Posts, yeah?
Here. So this is what I think we're going to need to get at, right? Posts.
Yep.
There we go. So there's my data, and I'm assuming we're going to filtering off. I don't know what, a title maybe.
We'll do it on title, do it on tags, and do it on. Do you have an excerpt as well?
Yeah, I have excerpt.
You know what? Yeah. I should do this in my blog because I mean, right now I just do it on like a state update, and it doesn't catch like casing or anything like that, or any kind of it just does the title of the post.
Well, I guess this is what this is about, right? So should we just jump in and install Fuse? Because I've never used it. So
do that. I've used it a couple of times now. It's quite good. I used it on cheatsheets.xyz, and I don't think it's on my current blog, but I put it on the Toast blog as well. I've used it somewhere else as well, I'm sure. It's quite good. Quite like it.
All right, so I've got Fuse in. So
you have to create some kind of config object which you pass into the search, which specifies what you want to kind of look for and stuff.
Yeah, and there's also just get up what I've done with it. There's also a threshold as well.
Yeah.
So I think 1 is like an exact match, and I have
that's right.
0.3 or something. It's quite fuzzy with that.
Yeah, Dom had it in his MD Next blog.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he still has. I don't know. When I did that little test run on that one. They had it, and it was quite slick.
All right, cool. So import Fuse from Fuse.
What do we need?
Then we're going to need some state for a query. Yeah, we need an input. But first up, let's just get the Fuse working. So make a Fuse object. So const Fuse equals new Fuse. Right, and then as a function, and then see what you get from that, I guess.
Well, see what Fuse is.
But you want to be the constructor. So you want to. Is it like an object you pass in there, and then on the and then you set different properties on that, I think.
Yeah, so you'll have your options and your data. So just whack in your data. So your pages.
Oh, that's going to be tricky then. I wonder if this will work.
Sorry, it's my cat. Okay, mate.
Wait, check the docs first before going off like 2 people that haven't used it for a while.
Oh, I thought you knew how to use it.
No, I haven't used it for like a year. I only used it for like 2 weeks. So
you could be in charge of reading the docs. I'm just driving. You tell me.
Give me a sec. Doc man is on.
So where are you? You've got Fuse. You've got const Fuse, new Fuse, options. What have I done? I seem to have minimized all my windows. Handy.
So that is it. You do have an object called options. The key is options, and then in there, if you go to the web, so in the actual options, we can do is case sensitive as a Boolean. We can set that to true. I mean, there's loads of them.
Yeah.
Where are these?
Why do you want it case sensitive? Totally bike shedding now, but
I don't know. I just the first one in the options. I'm just saying, like, put something in there. So there's
include underscore, include matches.
If you go down, there's the fuzzy matching. That's the thing Scott's chatting about with like the threshold. I think. Yeah, there we go.
So, I mean, these are defaults, right? So these are going to be set. Is 0.6 good enough as a default?
Oh wait, Kiro's saying in the chat that you don't need the options keyword. So you just pass it in as an option, as the key being is case sensitive. Is that right?
Yeah, just make it as an object.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
So for now, Paul, just pass in your posts to Fuse, and then see what Fuse spits out for you.
On what though? In here?
Yeah.
First argument.
Yeah, and then just get rid of that object. You don't need that.
Get rid of what object? The options. This.
Yeah.
Just leave it in there. You've done it now.
What? And then you just see what comes up. Like that? Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah, man. What we got?
Oh, we're gonna have to have the hold music again while this spins up.
I don't know any hold music.
Oh dear.
What happened? You break
Why
it?
is it taking so long?
Because I've got this massive query theme which I need to look at. It's unnecessary, but
Why
actually,
did it
one of the
Why did it
prices.
take so long to clone it as well? I tried to clone it this afternoon, and well, I did clone it, but it took forever to clone it. Has it just got a really big sort of lots of Git changes in it?
I don't think so.
Because the actual size of the repo wasn't that big. So there you go, Fuse options. There you go, docs. That's what you want to filter on, I think. Cool.
Yeah.
Right. So now, for your second argument in that Fuse there, where after posts, just put in a title of one of your posts.
Choose the one you like, eh?
Oh, typically is one that's too long. Right.
Best bits 2021.
Yeah, that will be. Oh, I don't know where that is.
You know what? I'm gonna start adding dates back to my posts. It's gonna look fucking weird because none of my posts got dates on them, but I'm gonna add dates from now on.
Right. So what? Just pass that as a string.
Yeah, let's try that.
Yeah.
You haven't got to reload it again, have you? Jeez, it's going to be a long old stream if you have to do that each time. Okay. Oh no, so it hasn't done that at all. Maybe you have to put it in the options. What's got the options there?
Is that expecting an object?
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
What does it expect for a second argument?
The options. So make an options object. Yeah, and then
the first one is exactly
right. What I've done is include score, true, keys. So that's what you want to filter on.
Keys.
And then that's an array.
Yeah.
And then just put in the so how does the data look for no, not that, sorry. So you'd have like front matter title and
will it be the full path then? So node.frontmatter.title.
Yeah, try that.
In an array?
Yep. In quotes, single quotes.
That?
Yep.
Okay.
And then include matches true.
True. Yep.
Oh god.
And then put the threshold in as well. Let's put it in as 0.6. All right, Rich, what's up?
I'll tell you when we're not recording.
Oh, I see.
I basically opened an issue on something last year and they just got back to me. I mean, they're very, very busy. It's just funny. It's good that they got back, but it's just funny.
All right.
So, how's the Fuse look now? 2. Wow. All right, it's just not filtering it at all, right? Okay. Maybe. So, does it? Are the posts coming in as nodes dot frontmatter.title, or can you just do frontmatter.title? Maybe.
Well, this is the posts object.
If you check out this here, I'm going to put this in the private chat because I don't have access to the other chat.
Yeah, so the shape was the same. So it's an array of nodes So is that right? I mean,
Looks
Oh,
here. Yeah.
you are doing what I just said. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. My bad. I wasn't paying attention.
That's not like you, Rich.
That's all I'm here to do.
what were you expecting from this? That this docs thing with them? But I mean, they've all got titles, so it's not actually going to filter anything.
Oh, yeah. So you need a query. So that's the results. Then what do we want to do? We want to query Fuse, don't we? Now we want to pass in what we want to run against it, I guess. Right? So let's get an input going. Yeah, I'll whack you the one over from cheat sheets actually, because it's in the theme UI, Paul. I'll put it in the chat. Okay, mate. Oop. Nice and formatted for you. All right, actually, it's Chakra.
You're just passing a query into an input, essentially.
Yeah, what's on search?
You're going to need to have some state for that, I think. So on search.
Okay, so we do on search, and then we're going to need a hook here?
Yeah, have query and update query.
Update query.
Yeah, so so you state.
That is what that's going to call. Yeah.
Yep.
And then we want some sort of state, I assume.
Yeah. So query and update query.
I think we're going to have a problem here. But anyway, go on, carry on.
Okay. Have that as
the event.
Yeah. And so in the event, just update query current target, and then in that, you're going to pass the event from the input box.
Current target dot value, right?
Just target dot value.
Yeah, go with that. Go with that.
That, or is it target dot value?
Current target dot value. That's right.
Just target. No, maybe I'm wrong.
All right. So this is going to take the input value that comes out of here. Yeah.
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 So how does that?
How does it filter against what Fuse returns?
So with Fuse, what do I want to do with Fuse? So you want your input box. You want the value is going to be the query, and then on change you're going to have on search, which you've got in there already, haven't you?
Hang on. So the what did you want to say? The value is what? The query.
The query.
Oh. Yeah. Placeholder, I think you had, didn't you?
Yeah. Okay, that looks promising. Yeah. So can you add stuff to it?
Okay, so the so just check what's going on here then. So I'm getting an error because on search update query, it can't be controlled and uncontrolled, but it's not. Its value should be, yeah. Why am I getting that error? Right.
So we need to now get some results from the query. The query's in state at the moment, right? And that's on change. So then we want to have the results of that query. So you say, where's the rest of the Fuse stuff where you initialized it?
Hang on, I just want to check something. console.log event dot. So we're saying it's current target dot value. I just want to see what that is first. Okay, so that's fine. That should go into state. And then value equals query. But this gives me an error. Yeah. What am I missing on an input? What did you have? You got.
That's it, I think. You got it all there.
Values query on change. Okay, so why am I getting that error then?
So this one, did you have the results you get back from Fuse? I don't know if you've done that yet. If you scroll up,
this is unrelated.
Initialized Fuse. So yeah, where you are there, line 23. So line 31.
Yeah.
We'll just put in a new variable. So const results. So that's what you're going to get back from the query. So that's going to be fuse.search. And then for now, let's just put in, let's just hard code in a title and then see what the results come back as.
Hard coding a title where? On search?
Sorry, so yeah, parenthesis and then a string. Yep.
What do you want to put in here?
Put in a title of one of your posts, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Just try that. And then see if there's anything from results now. Empty. Okay, cool.
That might be because that isn't the title. That's the title.
How's it going? What did I miss?
Not a lot. So we got
not much, mate.
We got an empty result from results.
Okay, so node front matter title. Do we need the node? Try and get rid of node and just see what front matter. Yeah, in there.
Hey, Alan. Hey, Tom. How's it going?
Still nothing, old boy. Do you want to have a think about that while
Hey, man. Hey, Tom.
Quickly nip to the gents?
All right. So
sorry, it's very unprofessional.
Let's just chat, Rich, while Paul does one. Go on, mate. Off you go.
So, how's it going? Have you not managed to get anything working? Or?
No. Let's just go to where. Don't show this again. And I share my screen.
Follow the documentation, though.
Yeah, that would have probably worked, I reckon. So let's take a look at this. Right. So we've got the objects, the options object, which is what he's done.
Wait a sec. You have the author of Fuse on this chat. So Kiro's the author.
Oh yeah, Kiro.
So why aren't you asking him questions, man? He's in the chat right now trying to tell you how to do it.
Yeah, man. Right. Cool. You can talk us through it. Kiro, do you want to jump on the stream? Do you want to jump on the stream and talk Paul through it? That'd be awesome. Stop sharing this.
he's loving the struggle.
Brilliant.
Don't tell Paul. Don't say anything to Paul.
Right.
What's happening? I'm back.
Nothing's happening. You didn't miss anything.
Something about documentation.
Well, yeah, I wasn't going to say anything.
Right, bring it up. Let's have a look. Is that yours? Is that your screen, Paul? Yeah. Okay.
No,
Cool.
you tell me. Is that my screen? Right. So where were we at?
So it's just trying to drill down on the keys there, I reckon.
I don't understand what you mean. Drill down
So,
on the...
Yeah, so usually when I've done this in the past, it's trying to find the right sort of dot notation for the keys, as to what's in there. So, what
you don't need the options key there, do you? Kira was saying earlier that you don't need that. You can, yes, exactly, straight up.
Ah,
That's a bit... Oh. No, that's that.
Yeah, it's still empty.
Still empty.
Okay. That's all right. So try nodes.frontmatter again, Tom. Not Tom. What's your name again, Paul?
There you go.
Hey, right.
What did you change? What did you do?
He had it labeled as options.
Yes, there's no option.
Yeah, exactly. So you removed the options key from the object. You were nesting an object basically. So.
And then this Fuse search, I'm assuming, should be whatever the query is, right? Because that's going to be coming from the input.
Yep.
So where we, rather than hard code it, this is just going to be the value of the query.
Yep.
But we're going to get this issue again between controlled and uncontrolled components. I don't know why, because my input's got a value and an on-chain. So let's find out why that is.
Now the
oh dear.
So now just pop back to your code again, and the results is basically what you're passing in to for your posts now.
Yeah, so rather than mapping over posts, it will be whatever results comes back as, right?
Yeah, so I'll just give you a little snippet for search results. So you want to have search results, which is the query. This is for when you start out to begin with, it will be empty. So if there's no search results, then just return the posts. Otherwise, return the search results. So just have a little I'll whack it over in the chat rather than try to explain it.
Well, we can just do this one step at a time, right? So the returned results here are going to be, so it's going to be results that we want to map over, right? Which is this.
Yep.
That's going to have an item and an index. Let's just have a quick look and see what item is. They should disappear. Fine. Right, so item. That's not overly helpful. So let's do results.
Cool. So that's right, nothing. And then, yep, you go.
Yeah. Okay. So that would give me back the item that I was using, I think, here. I just want to see what's I actually doing here. So I'm destructuring all those things from the node. Yeah. So this then would become type that up. That should give me all the destructured things that I can then return postcard component, which I've already made. That
postcard
still work.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So then we just need to make sure that it only does the filtering if it's not an empty string.
Yep.
So I guess it would be query No, hang on. What do we want to do? The results are empty. So when there's no search input, when it's blank, it can't filter. So
yeah, so you just want to return the nodes then, or the posts. What you have is the posts. So you want to have, you want to create another variable, and that variable is going to be query results or search results or whatever. And then that's going to be what you're going to use, regardless of whether it's filtered or not. So you're just going to do a ternary to say, if there's no query, then return the posts. Otherwise, return the search results. So you don't need any state. It's just that I popped it over in the private chat. It's like a little boolean, what they call ternary. There you go. But it's not nodes for you; it's posts.
So search results query if it does query it, else nodes.
Yep.
Else nodes.
Posts.
Well, it'll be your search. It'll be your posts.
Yeah. Okay. So here. Right, talk to me again. So we're going to say if there is results, then do that thing. Else, do something else. Yeah.
That's the ternary. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
So if it's not that, then do that.
Posts.
But take it from.
Yeah, man. Why don't you just put it into a variable, and then there's no need for the ternary there. You just put like your post results into.
Right. Okay. Hang on. Talk me through it again then.
So go back up to the Fuse implementation, wherever that is.
Right. So
Fuse. Yeah. Right there. Right. So in there, another variable. Search results, and that's going to equal the query. And then if the query is empty, then we're just going to return the nodes. Otherwise, so it's going to be results. Not results. What have you got as the result share dot map dot result.
What? Dot map dot result.
Yeah, and then we're just going to do so results dot map. Then get rid of result. Open up parenthesis. Map. Yeah, and then result. Fat arrow. And then it's result item. Result item, yeah. Or nodes.
Or nodes.
Outside of the ternary. There you go.
Nodes.
Sorry, or posts. Sorry, posts.
Pull yourself together, Scott. Come on, mate.
Right, and now search results is your posts basically for the rest of your components.
Okay, so search results is that.
All right.
Yeah, okay, and then search results map.
Yep.
I wonder if it's because in this result it returns item in the
sorry, what is
same shape.
Oh yeah, because you're
that's why I was going to do the ternary down here, because the D structure is
right, yeah, sorry.
Because if you look at the original one, the D structure comes from edges.node, whereas this one is coming from item.node, which is on result. There's no edges. So when we return posts, it's not going to find a result object.
Can't you just rename it to edges?
Edge.
Alias.
If we alias that.
Yeah.
What?
No, but you have to change it because you're destructuring it now from item when you've renamed item to edge. So that item.node is going to be edge.node.
Dun, dun, dun. Right. Any ideas? Anyone? should we come back a step and not try to render anything?
Yeah, so it's just about how we're going to render it out now, isn't it? So we've got everything we need in search results, haven't we? So that's what we're just going to use for what we're going to render out, right? All these comments, man.
That's all right, we can deal with that. Shall we just return a div?
A dove.
Will that compile at least? Yeah, okay.
Hey.
That's a bit better. That's fine. I can deal with that. So, edge, in this case, is going to be from the result. Does it give us something yet? And then with something in it.
Sid. Yep.
So that looks like it did work. Okay, so the next step would be see if we can get at the title.
Oh man, you got a load of stuff coming out there, haven't you?
Because it's not.
Yeah, it's not edge.node anymore, is it?
Well,
it's in search results, right?
Well, it's either going to be.
So.
It's either going to be result.item or posts, which posts has edge.node, whereas results.item doesn't have that.
It's just going to be search results, right?
No.
So whatever's in, just bang out the contents of search results. And just take a look at the shape of that object, and then try and work out what you got in there.
Is here.
You're right, Rich. You sound a bit frustrated, mate.
It's all right.
What's going on?
Yeah, I just want to say so, but I just maybe keep my mouth shut and just wait and see.
Right. So this is if there's no query. We're going to be looking at posts. Yeah. So post node. If there is a query, it should actually be the same shape.
Yeah.
So why didn't that work then? What does result look like, I wonder, from inside the map? Oh, Rich, what were you going to say?
I mean, why don't you try, instead of destructuring it all down there, just destructure it when you're in the parameter. So instead of result, just get the curlies on it and then call it node. Then you don't have to do all that shit underneath with like const equals front matter this, blah, blah, blah.
I like how you said get the curlies on it.
Get the curly boys out.
Your programming term. Get the curlies on it, mate.
Get the curlies on it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No one understands me in Sweden.
I'll tell you what. Not being able to put the curly when I was doing stuff in Angular at my my last place, not being able to just break out into JavaScript was so frustrating.
Isn't Angular just TypeScript, which is just JavaScript? I've never used Angular. I don't know. I'm just guessing here.
Well, I hadn't either before I started working on the project, and it was quite painful to try and debug it. I mean, maybe someone will be saying, "Well, actually, Scott, you just got to do X, Y, and Z." But yeah, it wasn't that. I didn't think it was that friendly how to sort of debug stuff. What are you looking at there, Paul? The node.
Yeah, I was just going through it. So there
you go. That's it.
Result.node, and then if we did have a query on something, these should still all return the same shape, which they do. So back to Rich's thing about what are we destructuring here. So we do need
where you've got search results.map, and then you've got result. Just destructure a result again, one level down to node, and then when you're destructuring stuff again down below it, I think it's going to be less confusing.
Node, meaning here?
I mean, like instead of result, do some curlies, and then node, and then underneath where you've got like, instead of const item edge result, all this shit, you can get rid of that, and now you've got the node object directly.
This is a good code review, isn't it, Paul?
I'm following along. So we've now got the node directly.
Yeah.
Should be
Now you can access all of them properties on it directly instead of all this nested destructuring again and again, a new variable, you know, it's just like.
But it looks cool, Paul. It looks cool, Rich.
So this will be node dot front matter.
Oh no, I mean okay, all right, yeah.
Cool. What are you thinking? Or are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean either or. You've got loads of stuff, so I mean, if you just got one or two things, I guess I would. Is it fun to watch? Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, we can go. Well, let's go through what I did have, right?
Just open up that const again that you had there, but take away edge. It's just node. Now you're taking all that shit out of node.
And then that
exactly. It's a little bit simpler now. We know that it's just coming from node.
Yeah, that's all right. I suppose we could
right?
destructure it up here. Is what you're.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
I was getting that. Yeah.
Good suggestion, Rich.
Right, this is looking good.
Now, let's have a look. If we type in theme UI.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, look at that. Worked a treat, boys. That should only be theme UI based thing. So this is what is this filtering on though? What did we say?
Right, so it's just a title at the moment, but you can put in like a comma after that and put node if you've got tags on your posts and stuff like that and dates and shit like that.
Yeah, it's a node.frontmatter.tags is an array though. Can it deal with that? Does it search within?
I don't know.
You can do. I saw in there is nested search.
Keyrow, can you do?
Wait, don't ask him. Let's just check.
The docs maybe.
I'm looking at it now.
All right. We haven't told you, Paul, but Kiro in the chat is the guy who actually made Fuse.js.
Ah, if we can't get this to work with the author of the actual library that we're using, then that really puts us to shame, doesn't it?
I asked him to jump on the call. And
three people, the docs and everything. It's like, I can't fucking do it.
Come on, boys. I'm relying on
three simpletons. That's why.
So it says here, nested search. You can search through nested values by providing the path via a dot. Yeah, exactly. Or array notation. So,
yes,
does that mean that a separate index would be an array? Or what? How would that work? I'm not really sure. How would you do that? If tags is an array itself, would it be node.frontmatter.tags or yeah, I don't know.
Do we find out? Let's see if this errors, because I guess we can just do a search on one of the tags that I've used, right? If we search for, let's say, React, should only get. In fact, let's use a less popular one, SVG. That looks like it works to me. So we should only be seeing results that have SVG.
This is a bit magical, isn't it? It's just working. So it's reaching inside because we've specified in the search the tags, which is an array. This keys thing is searching inside the tags for anything in there that matches, basically. Yeah. That's like what's happening.
An inception version of array iteration.
This is very nice. I'm going to put this on my blog. Actually, this is much better than what I have.
Yeah, it's really good.
So is that it? Did it just work? Is everything?
That's it. Close it down. We're good.
We actually nailed it. We actually done it.
That's it.
That's almost slightly disappointed that it didn't go worse than that, to be honest.
Well, it was pretty bad. So you just got one result for CSS. So now you can tweak the like the threshold as well.
Higher or lower for more accurate.
What do the docs say? I think 1 is like an exact match.
Well, let's have less of this, I think, and you tell me.
I've got to open the docs. Is that what you're saying, Paul?
Okay, so that was with 0.2. In fact, let me just check. I've actually got more than.
Oh, the documentation's changed. Am I looking at the right thing? I'm not looking at the right thing.
Do I add up by tag?
A threshold of 1 would match anything. A threshold of 0 requires a perfect match.
Oh,
so the closer to 0, The
I got
closer
it
to
asked
one,
backwards.
the closer to one is more fuzzy. It's like, it could be this, it might not be that. Like 0.9 is like, it's a bit shit. But 1, it's like, yeah, this has to be exactly that.
Thanks for your input, Aman. That's great.
I mean, I guess what would probably be better, and we won't do it now, but it would be good to have like a drop down where you could select whether you're searching by tag or by title or by content, or is that not the idea behind a fuzzy search?
I don't know. You could use downshift and downshift and
sorry, what did you say?
use it with that, I guess.
I mean, I guess what
Downshift.
you could do is if there was no selection, the fuzzy search is just broad across everything you're seeing on the screen.
Can we just acknowledge this question from Kira in the chat? Because I don't think it's a case of the docs being shit. I think it's a case of us not even checking the docs throughout this.
No, we weren't. No, I didn't say. I didn't say the docs were shit. I didn't say that at all. I think.
Well, you
it
implied
helped
it,
me out
Scott. You implied it, mate.
It helped. No, it didn't. I did not. And it helped me out. It helped me out a lot when I was doing it personally. So, so up your bum, Rich.
I'm just joking.
I mean,
Kiro, the docs are great, mate. The docs are really good. Thank you.
This looks like it does everything I need. I mean, I think the rest of it comes back to the UX, right? Whether you want to be clear about exactly what term you're searching for. But I'm assuming like a fuzzy search, the general approach is...
I'll tell you what would be really nice, like one of them little kind of autocomplete things. So like as you start typing it, it starts to kind of type out. Maybe you could store something in local storage. I don't know. But so it kind of starts to type out what you were searching for. That'd be cool.
So I think downshift is the way to go, and that's like a whole different. That's you're not going to get that into a 90-minute sort of thing. I don't think.
Well, you could pass the results of Fuse back onto downshift. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
What Fuse is doing is the heavy lifting with regard to, like, actually filtering. The target value with your source, if you know what I mean. But you could then pass that on to downshift so that it can then do the sort of autofill and then filter out a list before you click on them. But I kind of like the fact that isn't a fuzzy search supposed to be quite broad in the sense that whatever you put in.
Yeah, exactly. By definition, it's fuzzy.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you might as well just search the page for the exact thing you're looking for, whereas this gets you broadly close. I mean, it might be nice to have some additional functionality to see.
I'll tell you what would be nice, actually, to let the user choose if they want to do like an exact match or not.
Yeah.
Just have a switch.
What have you missed in the chat here? I think Kiro's not going to code again. Is that from something you said, man? I hope it's nothing which I've said. I'm sure it's trying to go back through the comments now.
You upset?
It's ruining lives, mate.
I think Fuse.js is great.
I feel slightly disconnected from this stream because I can't see you two and I can't see what's going on in the chat. All I can see is my screen. So it just feels like...
Why can't you see us? Is it because you're on your 13-inch laptop?
Yeah, it's because
yeah, I'm rocking a 16-inch actually. Let me check.
Mate, I haven't even got a desk.
Well, laptop's like this big.
I can't see any more than you can see. All I've got is this screen. So you could be swearing at me or making fun of me, and I wouldn't know.
We wouldn't do that, mate.
I think that went quite well, didn't it?
I think you've done very good. Yeah, that was very good. That's just under an hour. You got it working.
Yeah, I think that's pretty decent.
That's absolutely fab, mate.
I did have some other filters on this.
Yeah, what's all that stuff? Because
so
when you was commenting out all this code, I was like, God, how much is in there?
Well, there was a couple of bits. I don't know whether you noticed, but like the best bits was a pinned tweet. And so what I was doing, if it was pinned, was just resorting the array to bring the pinned one to position 0. So it was always
good idea to have a pin, sorry.
Nice.
So I think we could probably still do that because all of these array methods were just off.
See that, right?
So it would be the way I had it, which was like that. So that should still behave as it did. So, yeah, it's the best bit.
Hey door. Do you say hey door in Norway as well?
Yeah, that worked. And I had a couple of other filters on here. Like sometimes I have private posts, so they're actually published, so I can send a link to someone, but they just
think
never.
that's a great idea. I stole that idea from you.
I had that as well. I had that.
I goes to my newsletter that when I'm working on stuff.
Yeah, I mean this now implements everything that I had. It's just we've filtered the results better, which is perfect. And I actually think we couldn't do this in MDX because we need to have this part, which is going to have to be use state, so JSX. So the way I had it before was just
can we just
here
clarify?
I mean, in MDX you can. I mean, I don't know what the thing is with using hooks and stuff in MDX, but you can write components in MDX which are used in the MDX file. You just export it from the same file. So
I think you have an export default at the top, which has the JSX elements.
So I mean, maybe you could you do state and shit in?
I think so. I think
MDX
you think up here you'd have like an export default, which would be effectively the body. So you'd still keep it in MDX because all I did was shift everything I had in MDX into this JSX. I thought it was easier. But yeah, I think in theory.
Can we just go back a couple of steps?
So do you say in Norway, do you say hey door, same as in Sweden?
Who are you talking to about that, Rich? Who are you talking to?
B in the chat.
I was Benedicte watching.
Fucking hell, mate, get with it.
I'm a blind man. You need to help me see. All I can see is my code. You boys are my navigators.
It's like that meme.
Right.
Exceptional job though, boys. Well done.
So I wasn't meaning about your Swedish translation for what B was asking you for. I'm not sure why she was asking you that. But I wanted to just go back to the step before you used Fuse, and this isn't part of the theme, is it, Paul? This is like in your actual blog, because when I did this this afternoon, when I was taking a look at it, I couldn't work out how to do this post-page bit, because let's just show everyone who's watching where your pages are. Scroll down to your pages, mate.
That's the page. Does that answer your question? Hello? What's happening?
You're back, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
What happened to Rich?
I think Rich is getting a beer.
Right.
So, did you stop sharing your screen, or did it just kick you out?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on. Are we still? It's just basically me staring into space. What do you want to see?
It's not. Paul and Scott. It's other people as well.
Is that Rich talking to? Right. What did you want to see? You wanted to see. You wanted to see the post page.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I just wanted. Let's put this back on. A bit of where this post page is coming from, because if you look at this post MDX, you just got a component. Does that come from the theme?
Post page is here, so that's one that I've just created.
Right. Okay.
But the idea behind Terminal was that it's a 0 component theme. So, for instance, if we did this, if we just get rid of, we can't comment in MDX, but if we did this, for instance, this component comes from my theme. It's already folded into the MDX.
Right. So you put all the
This
components.
metadata. This metadata query has already been compiled by the theme, and it will give me the information from my metadata here.
Okay. So you got a component shadow everything in this project?
No.
From the theme?
No. So site metadata is a component exposed by the theme that I've already folded into any MDX that you use in your blog. At least I think that's the case. We're about to find out, actually, before I talk about that. So
yeah, so let's just go back and commit your stuff so it's not all fucked up, and then
whoa,
and then you can walk us through your theme and how themes work, because I won't say they're a mystery to me, but I do find it what's the word for it, clunky, when you want to find where the data's coming from on someone's blog, and it's like, oh no, it's from this theme, and then actually this theme is providing data from another theme, and then you're sort of jumping back through hoops, which I've never found particularly useful when you're trying to sort of work through something. But if you could just enlighten us on that.
All right, so
you don't have to. It's been an hour stream, so we can just sort of call it a day and just.
No, I'm not going to be able to stay around for another hour talking about Gatsby themes.
I wasn't suggesting that, but
what? But I stick around? Fucking rude, mate. Hey.
Oh, where's Rich gone?
Right, so let's come back.
Oh, sorry.
Twat. Oh my god. I wasn't talking to you, dickhead.
Well, actually.
Right. So we're back.
I think we're gonna. What should we call it? 90 minutes, and then we could wrap up. Paul can sort of talk about his awesome theme.
All right.
And then we can wrap up.
I don't
mind. We can call it now if you want. I've got a beer to drink, so.
Yeah, I've got a beer to drink.
I'm gonna slink away in a second, like discreetly. So carry on talking. Carry on talking, and I'll just discreetly slink off.
All right. So you understand with MDX
like
from the stuff that you've done in the past, you can fold.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I can't see you, Rick, so I'm assuming that that's a Stena stair lift, and you're like an elderly lady going down the stairs. Is that what that is? I can't see you.
It was a terrible joke. Sorry.
All right. So you understand that from any MDX stuff you've done in the past that you can fold components into the MDX, yeah? So you don't need to import them to make them available. We've sort of done that in the past, right? That's a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for instance, if I wanted to use a button from Theme UI,
I've been thinking about. I love your use of the word fold here as well. I was thinking it when you were saying it during the stream.
So if this was JSX,
is that an official term?
I think no, I don't think
fold.
it is.
Yeah,
I think
I use it.
Yeah,
I like it. I'm not taking a piss. I do like it genuinely.
I mean, the general idea is if you imagine this was JSX, you'd have to import button from somewhere to use it, right? So you'd commonly in JSX have to do something like import button from.
Yeah, you don't need to type it out.
Yeah, it's not for your benefit. It's for the listeners, Richard.
Oh, sorry.
That would be typically what you'd have to do in JSX, but with MDX, when you fold it in, I've already in my theme made all of the components available, so you can just use them without importing them. So we should, if this works, see a button that's styled on this page. Yeah. In my theme, I think I have different variants, so we could do. I'm not even sure if this will work, but
why would you have do you have an error variant in your blog?
Success.
Paul makes UIs, man. He's got to have a
Yeah.
This is
every
like
eventuality
especially
covered.
with Bootstrap or something. Secondary, primary.
All of that's
Is the primary the default?
I think primary is the default, yeah. But the idea is this is a UI component that we folded in to the theme, right? In my theme, I've also folded in what I've called data components. So this data component, which I've called source days, for instance. So if we look at source days, is already available to us in the theme, so you don't need to import it. It's a render prop that returns object. It could be anything. We'll call it rich, for instance. And then what am I? Well, let's not actually look at it. If we just log out what rich is.
Fucking amazing. Is that what's going to come out in the terminal?
So we should see here that rich could be called anything, is some data that I've already formatted in the theme and put it into a nice array of things. So we could now loop over this to create a list, for instance. So we could
This is what I said earlier to you. So this source list days, whatever you want to call it, this component, essentially, you pass it some data that you get from anywhere. It could be like a jumbled up list of shit. It could be blog post. It could be like, you know, how many people are on TV at the moment, whatever. And then this component will like make that into a nice little array or some shit that you can loop over with a render prop, and you can render that shit out however you want.
Yeah.
Is that?
No, it's not. You don't give it anything. Like it's already in the theme. So source days is
but it's predefined, yeah. So you predefined it already, Paul.
Yeah, I've predefined.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking of the source list you were using earlier. I thought they were one and the same. Like you just renamed it because it's like some export thing, how you exported it. But okay, cool. They're two different things.
Well, each of the components returns an object that's supposed to be for a certain function. So source list is going to list the sources. So the other thing that's going on in my theme is that it has a multiple data source. So you could have, like I've got on my blog, a source from multiple locations so that I can create posts and writing. I could create, you know, talks, speeches, whatever, and it shims Gatsby source file system and regenerates the nodes based on a config. So this theme.
Right. Okay, so it's on the config, yeah. Where's that config? Can we have a look at that?
It will be on here. So I think
this is what I was trying to pick from earlier on today.
In the so here
we're keeping you up, Rich. Sorry, mate.
You can tell it what folder you want to source from. So typically you would do that yourself in Gatsby config with the Gatsby source file system, but because this is the theme, you have to expose these things so that when you use the theme, when you consume the theme, you configure it via.
Right, so you get your source. Right, okay, so you're sourcing the data from there.
Yeah, so you're not directly attached to Gatsby source file system. So if I wanted to create a new set of array objects, if I wanted to have a new one that was called like talks.
Yeah. So this is the thing. I mean, I can see the power of it, but then, you know, if you're okay, I just want to put in talks in here, then you've got to go over to this other project, source that information, and then come back to this one and then go.
Whatever project? What do you mean?
Well, because the other one you're looking at, that terminal theme, you're shadowing that in here, aren't you? No.
So there's no need to shadow or go anywhere. If you want to source from a new location.
Oh, sorry, you're sourcing from that theme.
Put it in here.
Sorry. Yeah. But you can't just magic up what you want to source. You have to go off to that other thing and say, I want this to be included.
No. So if I made a folder called talks, my theme would source from talks automatically. Don't need to go.
If you think about it like this, right now you've got a folder called posts where you source your MDX from.
Yeah.
So right, yeah. I'm saying to Scott.
So here's
exactly. So you're saying you can have writing and talks.
So if I made a new one, if I made a new source called talks, and I put talks in that array, I can now source from this folder. Don't have to touch the theme. This is all using my theme. My theme passes on these source objects, and under the hood, use Gatsby source file system to find that node or that folder, iterate it, and generate the MDX nodes for it.
How's it deal with nested folders like Scott Labs, like four folders deep or something?
That's a good question. It might not be recursive. I don't know. It was a year and a half ago I wrote this. You might be able to.
You don't keep it up to date?
No, because it works for me and I'm happy with it. I don't know how deep it goes, but there's posts and projects. It might just only. Oh no! Look. Okay, so it iterates within. Yeah, so you could do posts, or you could do content, posts, date, number, and it iterates.
I can see Scott's getting excited now. He can see something that can handle his posts folder.
The best thing about it is you don't need. So this is the problem with themes, because everyone's like, use this theme and put your content in this folder. And I was like,
I'm sorry, mate. I'm just teasing.
I want to put my content wherever I want to put it, and so the theme allows me to do.
Paul, I see you've got a nested posts folder.
Yeah, the post, date, and then I think by month.
Yeah, same, exactly the same. So that's how I like to organize my shit. And I don't know. I just think if you crack into like a post folder and you've just got a ton of named MDX files, I don't know. Yeah.
And it gets a bit confusing.
It's cool. But I'm in the ecosystem now, so
there's definitely ones that have like supporting JS files because it's MDX. I might want to demo like a component, and so that comes from here. So I import Mr. Keyframes, and then I render it somewhere. What post is that? Alpha theme UI Alpha 6. Oh, so that component is.
Listen, I'm going to slink off now, boys. It was an absolute pleasure to chaperone you through this torrid time. I'm happy that I could help you in every way possible.
Can I stop sharing now so I can actually see you? Because I haven't seen my friends, and it's Friday, and we normally see each other.
Of course.
There we go. We're back in the game.
As my daughters would say.
Oh,
what's that, Dad? You dabbing? You dabbing? What's that? Are you dabbing?
Aren't we due a drawing from your daughter? I was promised a dog, snow, and something else.
Oh, I want to see the snow drawing.
They're not here. Well, one of my girls, Uma's staying at a friend's house, so I'm sure everyone's interested in this. Uma's staying at her friend's house, so I've actually got to go and help put the kids to bed now.
All right, mate.
Why I'm jumping off. So
bye.
But it was a pleasure.
Bye.
Fuck off, Scott.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.
I mean, I could talk about this all day with that theme. I know it's an odd concept, but it was just something I never saw in any of the Gatsby theme stuff because everyone was writing themes, and they reminded me of WordPress themes where it was like, here's a theme, put your content in a folder called posts and it'll work. But I was like, I don't want to put them in a folder called posts. I want to put them in a folder called writing, or I want to put them in a folder called talks. And so exposing that at the consumer level without touching the theme was what I was going for. But maybe it was not that useful. Maybe people don't understand it. It's the same idea with the data component.
It's just themes in general for me. I mean, I am... what's the word for it? I've not used them. I don't. I mean, looking at how you did it, I sort of get it. But you saying that you haven't got to define anything in the theme if you want that consumed in the client. You just make the file in the client, and then the theme knows what to do with it. That was a bit like, what?
Yeah, it's next level, and this is before the file system root API. This was all done in Gatsby Node because this was written a year ago. Now the file system root API is there. It might be a little bit easier, but I had to shim all of this from Node ownership so that you pass a string in through config options. That passes it onto a dynamic query created by Gatsby source file system, which queries the nodes on disk. And this is all done from a config in the theme options. You don't touch the theme. You don't need to republish the theme. You don't need to clone it. You just install it, add it to your project, and then configure it using the options I've exposed, which you can see in the README. And it's hard when you think about, like, how would someone using my theme want to use it? And these are all the things that were going through my mind. And because the reason I created my theme is because I wanted a blog and a commercial portfolio. I wanted them both to look and feel the same. I wanted to change some colors, but ultimately I wanted complete flexibility and control over the data it returns. And the only way to do that is to dynamically generate the Gatsby node queries under the hood, which is what that theme does. I mean, it's a little bit more tricky to set up because it's not a case of just going, install it, write my blog post, job done. You have to tell it where you want to source the data from. But that's a shite site easier than spinning up a Gatsby blog from scratch, or worse, using a starter where you're kind of like completely confused by everything it's doing, when most of the time you don't want what's in there. That's just my take on it.
That's how I feel about themes, though. I feel that that sort of thing is like there's a lot of craft. Is that the word? Which, you know, isn't really needed. So I don't know. I mean,
it depends how customizable it is. That's the thing with a theme. All I've done with my theme is say there'll be a logo and a nav bar on the left and a header at the top. Everything else is completely up to you. It ships with sensible defaults, but everything else is up to you. How you render it, what UI, what colors, what font, or what data, what shape, all of that is up to you. I've just done a little bit of the bootstrapping initially.
Yeah. I'm still not sure I get it.
Well, so imagine when you've written your Gatsby blog, you've had to go through all of the page queries, all of the GraphQL stuff, set up all of the hooks. You don't need to do any of that because it can all be done dynamically if you just put the name of a folder in a config for a theme. That's it. That's all you've got to do. I mean, looking at what my blog can do, and if you look at the config, it's relatively small. I mean, this stuff you would expect, right? Because this is very unique to my site. You wouldn't want to put, you know, Gatsby as a keyword in the theme, that because if someone's using your theme and talking about dogs, why would they care about that? And then that's the config for my theme. That's all you got to do. I mean, it's almost, I'm just giving away my tracking ID for Google Analytics. Maybe I shouldn't.
Oh, really? Nice.
But, I mean, if you look at a Gatsby plugin, like, you know, the smallest footprint it can have in config, the better. If you've got a plugin that has a shit ton of config options and it's really difficult to set up, then it's not great. No. It's nice to expose those things, but it's got a shit with default, so you don't have to use them.
I'm still not clear on what you were saying about you just magic up a folder in your client, and then the theme is like, oh, I'm just gonna grab that data, even though I've got no idea what that data is.
But it does know what that data is.
How?
Because you tell it.
Does it go from? So hang on. Right. So
you say go into the folder.
Go back to your talks folder example. So the theme that is like on top of that client code, right? So how does that know what talks is? How does it know where to get the information from that? Do you just put the information in it on the client, as it were, and then that goes back up to the theme, and the theme just processes it for you? I don't understand how this.
So if you were, let's say that this isn't a theme, right? And you had a folder called talks, and let's say there's a subfolder called 2020. Oh.
Are you typing stuff out?
21. Oh, am I not sharing? Sorry. I thought I was. Right. So from argument's sake, you would say you want to create a new content directory or whatever. That'd be like my talk. I don't even know if this will work, but let's find out. I think I need some default front matter.
Right.
Yeah, we'll just do all that. Fine. Fine. Yeah. Right. So now, if this was your theme, you would probably not, sorry, your theme. If this was your blog, you would go into Gatsby config and you'd probably have something for Gatsby source file system, and you would
you need to source that data, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So the way you do it in my theme is you go, I want to use Gatsby source file system and I want to look at the talks directory.
Okay. How does it know what to expose though? Say if there's like a new front meta field like banana.
Yeah.
Banana true.
So there aren't dynamic type defs in this. So each field from a post can be any one of these options. So you can use
hang on.
any of these.
What you're saying is you're anti-banana, Paul. You've got
I'm
not going to accommodate bananas on your thing.
Dynamic type defs because in a static query in Gatsby, you have to tell it what it's expecting. So I don't know when someone downloads my theme, I couldn't possibly know, and Gatsby can't possibly know what you're going to name your front matter. So these are the restrictions of a theme that you predefine them.
Okay.
But with the idea of the data component, just because I've called this field author and I've put my name in it, you could put any string value in there and just reshim it on the front end. So when you loop over the front matter, you could say, well, actually, for the talks, I'm not using the author as the name. I'm actually going to use that as the conference name, and I'll just render that out in my UI. But instead of it being a custom named field,
so it's still like a magic numbery sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So I've put a couple in like this, like MISC. You know, I don't know what you'd want to use, but MISC is a string. You can use that however you want. And when you surface it in the UI, it doesn't matter what the key value pair is, or the key is. It just matters what the value is, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and you need to know what to pluck out in the client.
I mean, if you want to dig into how to do it, I mean, it's open source.
No, that's fine.
But it basically dynamically creates the queries from what it receives as a theme option, which is here. So these sources are what we were just looking at. So it will take the name of the source, which is that, find it in the file system, and regenerate whatever the config was. So
that's really good.
So for every instance of something that's passed in from the source, it creates a new resolver for Gatsby source file system and puts the name of the thing that you've told it. So that would become source.talks. And my theme doesn't need to know about it. It just needs to know that it's expecting a name of something that exists on disk.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, it is. It's pretty powerful stuff. So
maybe I don't know. Like I said, this was a year and a half ago, and themes sort of died a death a little bit. And I think
I think they have. I think people still. I mean, I know Lico Art still uses them quite a lot. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think the restrictions with themes is what puts people off, because people take a theme and then they're like, oh, but I actually want to do this. And if your theme can't do it, then it just leaves you.
You're a bit restricted, aren't you?
I'll just write it myself. Whereas I was trying to go, if you want to source data from anywhere, you can. If you want to change any color or any style or any font or any padding, you can. If you want to render the UI in a different way than a list, you can. Like, all of those things exist by just returning those render props with data nodes. That's it. That was my idea. And that's why I said it's a zero component theme. There's actually no components to it. It's just data, and you consume it the way you would a headless CMS or an API. Yeah. We got 5 more minutes. You talk. Awesome. You do some talking now, Scott.
So, and I think we better wrap up. No, we're going to wrap up, and it seems like people enjoyed it. Maybe we'll do it again sometime soon. But for this one, we're going to say bye-bye, and end the broadcast.